Well, my weekend sojourn got to see some live hockey, and what do you know? Chris Drury sent us all a letter. Hey, everybody, this is Rangers Daily presented by Fan Arch. I'm your host, Todd Werwa. Please keep subscribing. We're up over 500 now. I can't thank you enough. Ring the bell so you know each time a new episode is posted. Leave a thumbs up if you like the content. And as always, leave your thoughts, your comments, your rants, your rages, your questions, whatever, down in the comments section. I read them all. I appreciate them all. And thank you for making this a great Rangers conversation. So let's get to the big news since our last episode. Rangers sent out the letter 2.0 stating basically they're waving the white flag. Expectations haven't been met. They're going to retool. Key, retool, not rebuild. We all know it's a rebuild, but we'll call it a retool. And it means fans are going to have to accept that some of the longtime players who've made a difference for this organization will have to say goodbye to. Obviously, the first one is going to be, well, let me step back. May not be the first one to go depending on a deal, but we knew the first one that became a definite was Artemi Panarin. They basically told him, we're not signing you to an extension, so let's look for a place where you'll accept a trade, waive your no-move clause. So we know they will do their best for Panarin to be traded to a different team. Hopefully he can, obviously he'll go to a contender where he can try and win a cup. Hopefully it actually happens, just because the Rangers want a deal done and Panarin finds a place where he might remove his no-move clause. That doesn't guarantee that a deal will actually get done. I would assume one would, because boy, that would be a colossal failure if they don't. So Panarin, we know, will go, but I think this opens the door for Trocheck, opens the door potentially for Zibanejad, though I think that might be less likely. Opens the door for Soucy, opens the door for Braden Schneider. Who knows? May even get Alexis Lafreniere. The team needs speed. The team needs youth. The team needs picks. The team needs prospects. It needs a lot of things. And it was good that there was an acknowledgement from the Rangers brass that things aren't going the right way. They're obviously trending down. Making the playoffs would be a humongous effort at this point, needing, tremendous win streak, great performance, being able to jump over a lot of teams. And then the realization that you don't really have a cup-worthy team. Well, you certainly don't have a cup-worthy team. So does getting to the playoffs and losing in one round do any good for the franchise, or does it just set it back? And it just sets it back, and they have a chance to financially get out of some things that they've kind of trapped in. And so they raise the white flag of surrender and are going to try and remake the team. We can debate whether Chris Drury is the right guy to do that, but he's got, what are we, January 19th now, so has until like February 4th or 5th, somewhere around there, to make some deals. Then there's a roster freeze, and then come the 22nd, once the Olympics are over, until March 6th when the trading deadline happens. So very limited time as opposed to the, having all of February to do it as well. We'll see what he can do. I'm glad they acknowledged what we're all seeing, and let's just hope they do it right. I won't put a number on my faith in this brass actually doing it right, but let's hope. Let's hope, all right? Let's hope that the Rangers use this experience to get the things they need, rebuild some of their system, rebuild their prospect line, get some younger, players on the way up, and at least get a start in the retooling with potentially more moves in the summer, right? I don't think everything's going to happen by the trade deadline, but I think, got to give those summer months some time for some other moves. You never know, potentially around the draft, always moves around the draft, leading into free agency. There could be some too. So it's not just the immediate but I'm sure something will happen in the immediate. It just don't look for the finished product quite yet. It'll take months, and obviously we know it's an extended, full process that may take years. We'll see. Teams can make quick turnarounds. You strike the right balance. Nothing's impossible. They're avoiding the rebuild like the Sharks and Blackhawks that, set them, way outside playoff contention for years. But we'll see what they're able to do if the goal is retooled, how quickly they can put this back together to field a competitive team that at least has some juice to make it through a couple of rounds of the playoffs. Well, once the letter came out, the Rangers were headed to Philadelphia, and wouldn't you know it, with the pressure and tension of not meeting expectations and failing playoff hopes and trade speculation, with a lot of that now off of them, the Rangers play phenomenally and beat the spiraling Flyers 6-3. Mika Zibanejad was terrific, another hat trick. He now has 21 goals. He's surpassed last year's goal total. He has points in 8 straight games. He set the franchise record for all-time power play goals, and he also tied Bill Cook for first in franchise history with 9 career hat tricks. He's having a pretty good season, and I'm sure it's not going unnoticed around the league. Potential landing spots. We'll talk about one coming up in a little bit, but he's back. After last year's struggles, he's definitely back. And if he wanted to leave, if he was accepting of leaving, I'm sure there are some playoff bound or playoff seeking teams that would love to have a player of his caliber. Financials and all that are, those, I'm not taking those into consideration at the moment, but I'm sure there are teams that would love to have him if they have the right package to give back to the Rangers. Panarin had 2 more goals, 800th game, so congratulations to him for playing his 800th game. He also has points in 9 straight. Pretty darn good. Once he shaved his head, he's been Panarin. He just doesn't really fit on this team, obviously. And, the contract situation. So he'll be on the move. Obviously, he's putting on a tremendous showcase for teams that might like, his services, so to speak. He heard everything from Colorado to Dallas to Carolina to who knows. I have no idea where he might go, but listen, between Mika and Panarin and Trocheck and Soucy and Schneider, given the right price, there are teams like Dallas, Carolina, Detroit, Utah, LA Kings are in dire need of scoring. LA Kings might be a Mika or Panarin spot. Minnesota Wild might be a Trocheck spot. The more they play well right now bodes well for what the Rangers can do. And it sounds like, according to Sully and according to everybody, it's been an emotional several days. But they're going to be professionals and play to win. And, even as people come and go from the locker room, they know, the business is a business. A couple other milestones in Philadelphia. Mike Sullivan wins his 500th game. Congratulations, Coach Sullivan. Got a little tense there, whether he was actually going to get it or whether they were going to continue to lose. He was stuck on 499 for a bit, but he got it. 500, big round number, a couple of cups. I mean, it's a tremendous coaching achievement. So congrats to him. Also, congrats to Brennan Hoffman, who gets his first NHL goal in his 34th game. It was a real nice, one-time snipe on a break. Boy, this kid deserve a little happiness. You could see in his reaction just how joyful he was. He had hit the post a couple of nights ago, and he talked about how Mika sort of came and told him to keep his chin up. It'll be coming, and for him to get his first goal is phenomenal. He also has been, part of trade talks and prospect swaps and stuff like that, but good for him. Really happy to see him not only get his first goal, but to get it in a win where he can talk about it, celebrate it so freely, and not have to feel like, like Gabe Perreault when he had 2 goals the other night. Hey, yeah, it was great, but we lost. Was glad Othman got it in a win. It was really cool to see Will Cooley immediately as the puck went in. He went and got the puck for Othman. So good for him, a good milestone there. Another good milestone there in Philly. Tonight is another game night. Rangers out west, a little West Coast road trip, little swing. Kind of an interesting one, too. Tonight they're in Anaheim. Tomorrow they're in L.A., then they're off Wednesday, Thursday, and play the Sharks on Friday. So a little sun tanning, a little bonding, a little chance to be anonymous for a few days. So I think JT Miller might have said it was it'll be a much needed getaway. It'll be a good experience at what's been a difficult time for the team. And maybe they can string a few wins together. They start in Anaheim. Anaheim will be without Leo Carlsson. They may be without some other players as well. Anaheim's put 3 wins in a row together after a 9-game winless streak. They beat LA twice over the weekend. They back on the rise. They're rolling 4 lines. They're doing, kind of what they were doing earlier in the year. We'll see if Joel Quenneville has them playing. I'm sure at both of these games in Anaheim and LA, there'll be plenty of Ranger fans there for sure because they travel well and there are a ton on the West Coast. So we'll see. It'd be nice for the Rangers to keep the momentum going. After hearing about how fragile and how tense the locker room and lack of confidence, just forget the playoff stuff and all of that. Just for this group to put a couple of wins together would be nice for these guys to just feel like they can just play hockey instead of deal with all the, albeit self-made, tension. Like I said, they go to crypto.com for a game against the Kings on Tuesday. The Kings have really struggled to score. It's a showcase, all right? These 2 games are probably a little bit of a showcase for some of the guys that could help the Kings with some offense. Listen, Mikko or Panarin could fit there for sure. We'll see. I think these bonding trips when you're struggling, right, they hit at the right time. And as I said, it'd be nice just for them to be able to smile a little bit, play some good hockey, and not have to feel like, especially after the letter, they know they're going to be broken apart. It'd be nice for this group, until it gets broken up, to play well and go out feeling a little less tense. Obviously, they play well on the road. They play much better away from MSG. So hopefully the West Coast, a little sunshine, will cure some of the ills. We know it can't cure all. It's not going to give them youth, speed, talent, skill, or anything like that. But getting a couple of wins could just change the outlook for some of these guys from grumpy to gleeful, let's say. So looking forward to it. Should be a good game in Anaheim, obviously, visit with old friends, past Rangers galore on that team in Anaheim. So anyway, please subscribe to the channel. Enjoy the game tonight. Tell all your friends, hey, we got great Rangers content over here every day, Monday through Friday. And as always, thanks for watching.